Yep, yep. I'll make sure Appa doesn't eat all your hay. So get your big butt off the ground and let's go!
Are you kidding? He's just a goofy kid.
I'm back again with another video, and this is the long-awaited what I want to see in Atla live action, Avatar The Last Airbender live action Netflix adaptation. So I made a little bit of a list, but I'm also gonna freestyle it because, you know, we gotta expound. Not too sure how long this video will be, but I'm sure it won't be that long. So, oh my god, so this is what I want. So let's just start with the disclaimers from now, okay? This is just my opinion. You can either make your own video or put your opinion in the comments section. You can think of something that I never thought of, or you can disagree and say why you think the opposite should happen. I would actually like to see that because, like I said, this show could do anything, and if it's written well enough, I might like it. So let's just put some ideas out there and see what happens. Now, to the writing gods who usually take all of my ideas and either ruin them or perfect them and put them in television, because this does happen to me a lot. I am allowing you to take all these ideas, but please do them justice, because I don't want people, you know, seeing my ideas out there, but you wrote it wrong or you were lazy with the writing and then people say it's trash when really it would have been epic if you just took a little bit of time with the source material. Anyways, let's just start with number one, all right? That is deeper connections, all right? Meaning that I want the relationships, meaning all types of dynamics, to get more screen time. That includes friendships, dating, rivalry, relationships with power dynamics like subordinate to command, all of those. So maybe there is a subordinate to Azula. We get to see how he cowers in fear over her, and it gets to be a running gag. That'll add to the screen time, add to Azula's character development, add to her depth. We get to see Team Avatar get even closer, so the Korra supporters can get even saltier than Team Aang is better. And we get to see Sokka and Katara's relationship. I would like to see their relationship focused on a teensy bit more. It was done pretty well in the original show. But, you know, if it's going to be a little bit longer, I would like to see a good 5% at most added onto their relationship so that when they both have their character development, we can really see where it started from and how they both helped each other as well become better people. Also, Sokka and Aang, they actually had a really cute relationship in the show, but if you're not paying attention, you'll blink and miss where it came from, because Sokka just went from seeing him as this annoying kid that he had to help to like being best friends with him and making jokes with him at Katara's expense later on in season 3. So I loved it, right? It was great to see, and it made sense because Aang is a jovial, fun person, and when Sokka is comfortable with somebody, he's fun and jovial. But I don't really love that we get to that conclusion because we have to think so hard about their personalities. So I would love for them to show that in this new show. So everything I'm saying right now is under the deeper connections envelope, whichever one you say. Now, most of what I'm going to say as well, disclaimer, is about season 1. So I'm probably not really going to mention Toph much. I do want to talk about Toph, but we don't really know what direction the show is going in, so I can't really. So I might just put a section at the end for what I would like from the entire show as a whole and just cram Toph in there. And I'm so sorry, Miss Beifong. I'm treating you just like the show treated you, you know, save the best for last and really give you any screen time, but it's okay. I might make a Toph video. Let's think about it. Anyway, continuing with deeper connections. I know that there's a rumor that they're going to do Zutara. And just so you know, this is not a Zutara stan account. I understand. Only because it's opposites attract, which is a basic romantic connection that is put out there in media. But for me personally, I don't need them to be together. I feel like this live action is a great opportunity for them to slow burn Aang and Katara. This show is obviously going to be more than 3 seasons, which means these people are going to grow up on screen. And if they want to change the story, they can grow up in the show as well. So it doesn't have to be creepy because of their ages or whatever. It could be 3 years later and we finally get everything we want to see. But if they give us a slow burn where people can put fan edits of all the moments together and it's not just the equivalent of 1 minute 30 seconds, I would like to see that. I've always been a Katang shipper because it just makes sense and I like them together. But however, I would like to feel more validated in enjoying them by having more to see and having more to look forward to. When it comes to Katang, I do not need... Katang is the ship name for Aang and Katara. I know there are some people who watch my channel who don't necessarily understand everything I say because they don't watch everything that I watch, so I'll try to be a bit more descriptive. I would love to see Aang and Katara's relationship be formed with a little bit more deepness, you know. You can count on 2 fingers the amount of moments Katara has had where she's like, ooh, Aang. It was that one time in season 1 where she realized fortune teller might have been talking about Aang. Oh, spoiler alert. Really, spoiler alert, yes. And that time in season 3 where he got jealous because Aang was hanging out with Anji. Now, if you don't know these names, please watch the show. Like, what? Why? Tangent. Why are you watching this video if you've never watched the show? Why? I mean, thanks, but fine, I'll give context. Anji is a girl who went to a Fire Nation school. When the team made it to the Fire Nation, Aang went undercover at a school for like 2 days or so, or the show made it seem like 2 days, but we never really know how long it's been. We just know it hasn't been an entire year when the whole show was, you know, passed or whatever. So he hangs out with her because she's nice and friendly. They obviously have a vibe, a really cute vibe. And when they're at this dance party that Aang orchestrates, Katara, you know, she's kind of like, you think they're cute together, huh? You know, she has a little jealous vibe, and it's the first and only jealous vibe we get from her the entire show. Now, mind you, you could argue and say she never had to be jealous. It was so obvious Aang was all over her until she got any type of competition in the form of Anji. That's true, alright? But Katara was also, you know, never really reciprocating. Anyways, long story short, I just want to see a little bit more between the two of them. I would love to see that. Now for Zutara, I don't need it. And let me just go into attention as to why I don't care for Zutara. I understand it, and if they wrote it properly, it would probably be nice. But here's the thing, I don't need to see Zuko and Katara. I don't. I understand why people think that. The section where he says, all see from the pirates. That's what all Zutara fans love to put up as, oh, the sexual tension. But if we're being honest, if you're just putting up low, breathy, or eye contact filled moments between the members of the Fire Nation and our team, then that means that I should see a lot more people shipping Zazula, Sokka, and Azula, because I personally, I think even when I was younger, saw a lot more sexual tension between Azula and Sokka in that season 3 episode where they were, you know, on the day of Black Sun than Zuko and Katara in the first time they interacted that closely, you know. I'm not saying all time. I know Zuko and Katara have a lot of moments, but I'm saying that moment where she was that close to Sokka and they're having that back and forth and Sokka pinned her to the wall. Mind you, I'm gonna get to Sokka in a minute. He can damn near be with anybody, but all I'm saying is, if we go and switch up the game by putting in Zutara, which I do not advocate, then they better make it interesting for me by throwing all the relationships out of whack. Alright? So, whatever. I'm not for Zutara, but if they gon' do it, please write it correctly. Jesus Christ. I am more for Katang, and long story short, I just want them to add a few more moments that we can look forward to, and, you know, just start the groundwork. And we don't have to get anything explosive in the first season, but I would at least like to start the groundwork, not just Aang being a kid and liking her because she's cute, and then her thinking, maybe I could like Aang because of the fortune teller. Like, I need a few more moments that are pivotal, that even when she comes in contact with Jet and we have that interaction, and who knows, that could even be more elongated to make his betrayal even worse. I would like that. I'm okay with both of them seeing other people, but I still want them to be OTP. So while I'm sitting there enjoying the roses of them dating other people, I would at least have to see the groundwork of little moments where it's like, they with other people, but they know who they should be with. Just kind of like an inside joke between us, right? Like, you do what you do, but we know how it's gonna end. You know what I mean? Yes. So, on the note of Jet, I finally remembered the first Earthbender that they met, Haru. How did I forget this man? I don't know. Disrespect on me. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow. So, yeah. Katara, I would love to see an expansion of her relationship list. Just a little bit. Like I said before, I want to see them go a little bit longer with the Jet and her saga. And maybe, the fact that, she was flirting around with Haru a little bit and everybody thought... Because you see, I get that more than the Zutara thing. Like, people were like, every time Katara talks to a boy, and I get that, right? Because when it was her and Haru, I was like, oh, that's interesting, right? Because it's the first season, you're not necessarily seeing her and Aang together. So her and Haru makes sense. So I would be okay with her having a few situationships as they're saving towns to add more to the story and give us more of a grounding, also raising the stakes so that when Haru gets taken away, it's like, oh my god, Haru, because we have more of an emotional connection to him other than his quickly thrown out their backstory. Alright? Yeah. Alright. And with Jet, hoping they let them that out as well so that we can feel more than just he's a crazy guy who understands what it's like to hate the Fire Nation. Just add a little bit more depth to his character, and you can also create a longer bond with him and Katara so that if he were to come back in later seasons, that can also have a bigger, larger effect. Now, still in deeper connections, let us talk about thy nigga Sokka. Now, Sokka has had a few relationships in the show. So proud of my man. I need those to be better. A lot of people think that what happened between him and Yue was short-lived. I agree. I hope that since this is supposed to be only the first half of season 1, like the first half of book 1, the first half of the water season, I hope that means that they're going to lengthen out him and Yue. Because, as a kid you feel bad when she dies, but I don't remember crying, and I don't remember watching anybody else cry when I watched reactions. So, put some respect on Yue's name. Give her more backstory. Alright? Let us, see a little bit of how she grew up. And, so she doesn't have to just exposition everything. Because, like I said, most of the people who are going to be watching this show have already seen the cartoon. So there's a level of show, don't tell that you can do because we already know the story. So you don't have to exposit everything, right? So I want more Yue, good. I want more Suki, but I don't really have to ask for that because you're putting her mother in the show and you've already cast her. So I think that just shows that they're planning to do a lot more with Suki. When it comes to Suki, I'll just say, please do her justice. Please just write her properly. Okay? Write her properly. Thank you. Alright. So, what more deeper connections? Since you've already cast Azula, like I was saying in the other video, I want to see more of a connection between her and Zuko. Not on a friendship level, but let it not be season 2 Zuko alone, where we get to see his relationship with Azula. Like, you've already casted her. I don't know why you already cast her. It better be because you want to do a couple more flashbacks, or you're lengthening out stuff with the Fire Nation and you want to show us something, as the viewers. I am ready to be shown what you have to show me. I want to see. So, it would be good if, the horror of the Fire Nation was also shown through that monarchy. Like, the banished prince who's deadly with swords. The princess who's a feared general. And Fire Lord Ozai. No explanation for that nigga needed. Like, I would just really love if that was also a part of it as well. Let us see it. Let us see it. Okay? Okay. So, since they're going to have Azula there already, I expect to see some interactions. It would even be really cool if we got like this prequel scene where we see him being shipped off to banishment and Azula is like standing there at the docks, waving at him, smiling. You know, just something to show that you casted her early for a reason. Of course, they could have casted her early for a lot of flashback scenes, which I appreciate. I appreciate that thought. But I just want to see more Azula. I want us to be like, ooh, there's Azula. You know, I want her name to be heard and feared a little bit. Not a lot. Because I as I'm rewatching the show by watching other people watch it, it is fun that if they don't know who Azula is, they just kind of hear about her close to the end as Zuko is talking about her, and then they see her for 1 second at the end of season 1, and then they see her at the beginning of season 2, and she has that iconic "Do the tides command this ship" speech. If you don't know what that is, put in Azula and the tides. Quality. I don't know how Disney got away with putting that scene in the show, but they got away with it and I love it. So please, since Azula is going to be in there, let us enjoy her being there. Make good use of her character, alright? Make good use. Now, what other connections? Yes, I said I also want to see the relationship between Azula and her subordinates, and Azula and Lo and Lee, her grandmasters of firebending that teach her. I would like to see just a tiny bit. I don't need to see a lot. Just like 2% backstory on them. Maybe 1%. A little bit. So that we can see why. Because, you know, Azula's kind of full of herself. So, like, they must have been really good at teaching in order to teach her how to firebend. Because they can't firebend. So, you know, even just a little... There, you could do exposition there. Like a little exposition where maybe one of her subordinates is like, they don't even do firebending. And then somebody comes up and says, you don't know? They trained the great Yon Ra and whatever. Yon Ra is the name of the man who killed Katara's mother. I don't know why his name was in my head, but, you know, just like they trained somebody who was incredible in the Fire Nation, and so Azula had to have them as her teachers. You know, just something that kind of explains that, because with Azula's mindset, it's kind of weird that they're the ones teaching her. Of course, as you can see by the way she firebends, they're obviously really, really good teachers. But we only get to see that because we see Azula. So I was just like a little bit of backstory so that we can be like, oh, they're incredible. You know, so we can see that connection between them and Azula as well, because that would be a very interesting dynamic, and we could mirror that dynamic between Zuko and Iroh's dynamic. So the same way Zuko and Iroh's dynamic has a certain way, we can see that Azula has not only one old person, but 2 old people at her side, and her mental state is way less than Zuko's. So that would really be a good contrast to like pit her against Zuko, pit both of their psyches against each other, and to also show the different levels of training. There is so much you can do with this show, bro. Which is why I know I'm not going to be happy if this show is bad. I'm not really going to be upset anymore because I've kind of let all that go. But you see everything I just said? Everything I just said can take up an entire season of the show already. But I know they're probably just going to end up, if they do any of the stuff I say, minimizing it. We'll see though. I'd have to make sure I put this video before the ad comes out, and I don't know when it will. It could be sometime around school, sometime around October. I keep telling people it'll be out in October, so if it is, I prophesied that. But yeah, I think we can move on from deeper connections at this point. Let me think. No, I think we can move on because it's just season 1. I guess I'll just bring up Iroh. I kind of had an idea for a show with Iroh in it. I'll probably make a video about that some other time, but a tiny bit of backstory on Iroh would be nice. Especially maybe like a small flashback about his time in the spirit world. Not a lot though, because every time they delve into the spirit world, it's either really good or really bad. So just take that with a grain of salt, right? Just take that with a grain of salt. And like I said, I brought up his dynamic with Zuko, and I wanted to parallel Azula's dynamic with Lo and Lee. So that's whatever. Alright, so now we are at the next section. Part 2. More use of the darkness of the time. Now, it's not lighting, people. Me thinking I'm funny. This means, right, that I would love for them to make use of the fact that it has been 100 years of war. So that actually connects to my next point, but I'm just going to speak about it singularly for now. So I really want them to make use of the fact that it has been 100 years of war. I want them to show me that it's dark. I heard that they're going to make this show a little bit darker. I am okay with that for a multitude of reasons. However, I understand why other people are not okay with that. Like I said, the whole DC curse, they feel like if something is gritty and dark, then it's deep. But it's not. Like I said in my prior video, the original show was actually very, very deep. However, they lightened it up so that kids could watch it. But if you are an adult and you're watching it with an adult's mind, every now and then you're like, oh my god, these people are kids in a dark time. You know what I mean? So I want them to kind of like put that more to the forefront so you don't just like, it doesn't just click for you after a while. Like, I want it to be something that it at least reverberates in the back of your head as you're seeing everything. So like, maybe, and this is not anything to say bad about Aang, because I'm so sick and tired of y'all hating on Aang. I will be making an Aang love video because y'all messed up. I want to see a little bit of how Aang's situation affects him. Not necessarily the fact that he left, because I know he blames himself for that. But the fact that everybody around him is dead. I want to see how that affects him a little. I know a lot of people think Aang is childish. I'm not talking about that. I want to see, like, let's say he's going into a mode where he's going to be super childish. I want to see him wrestle with it first. Like, I want to see the cogs turn, you know, for 1 or 2 scenes in the first season where it's like, he sees a skull. It reminds him of the skull of Mangiatso. He wrestles with a tear, and then he wipes it off and decides to make a joke about Momo. You know, like something to add a layer of depth to Aang, right? Because, you know, in season 2 and season 3, you saw a lot more deepness to Aang. But even though you know where it came from because he had been through a lot at that point, sometimes it still felt like it came out of nowhere. I would really like for it to not come out of nowhere because we at least saw 1 to 2 scenes where we got to see him struggle with his mental state after seeing what happened to his people. And I would also like, for the second season, I just want 2 scenes in a season, because I think that's enough. Because with the tone of the show, you just show 2 scenes. 1 scene after he finds out about his people, maybe an episode or 2 down the line, he remembers that he's about to get angry, his eyes well up, and he wipes it away, makes a joke, or starts fooling around. Then the second one that I would like to see, the second moment of Aang having to wrestle with his feelings, is when he meets Bumi, right? So after Bumi brings him to the test, and let me tell you, writers, that whole episode better be exactly like it was or better, alright? I want to see that episode so bad, okay? They haven't even cast Bumi yet. Like, how much are they planning to get through? How slow is this show gonna be? That could either be a bad or a good thing, but I guess that's all I'm saying about this show. Please write it good, or it could be a bad or a good thing. That's like my slogan for this entire adaptation. It could be a bad or a good thing. I'm sorry. But after he finds out who Bumi is and he hugs him, right? It could either be before or after they race down the slides, or they don't have to race down the slides at all. But right after he meets him, he's laughing with him, and maybe they do a secret handshake that they both used to have, right? That would be so cool, like a secret handshake that he taught him that only Earthbenders know or something, right? And then after that, it's like he looks at him and he sees him as a kid, and then he sees him again as this old man, and then he sees him like die, and then you just see a tear fall down his eye, and then he hugs him again, but he hugs him tighter, and he's like, I'm so sorry. You know, just like, he just says one sentence, just one thing. And immediately Bumi gets it, and he offers him like a word of wisdom. And then Aang is just like, yeah, okay, sure. You know? Yeah. I would love to see that, because that would just be it would get me emotional. Because the fact that Boomy is his only friend that is living is something that people don't even think about. You know, like, if you bring it up, they're like, oh yeah, that's true, but they don't really think about it. You know what I mean? So I would love for that to be at the forefront of people's minds, because you added a scene to punctuate it. Yeah, so that would be cool. One complaint that I saw about the original show was that Aang was told by Boomy how important everything is, but afterwards he was still joking around a little bit. Aang is a kid, guys. Give him a break. This is not a rumor. I think they plan to make it darker. Not completely dark, but darker for real. But Aang is a kid. I think, in the same way with Spy X Family, y'all don't like people criticizing Anya. I'm gonna make a video about it. Just wait. The same way y'all don't like people criticizing Anya, don't criticize Aang. Alright? And I wish Anya was a boy, so that it wouldn't sound so mean. Look, just relax. He's a kid, and if you watch the entire show, he gets it at some point. Like, he stops joking around at some point. Especially in season 2, the joking around just stops. Like, especially from like the first episode, he stops joking around entirely. And he just kind of goes into this complete mind mode. He's still fun, but he doesn't joke around anymore. And instead of y'all just waiting for that, y'all were just mad that it took so long. Like, just relax. Relax. It's like y'all want to see him feel bad forever and be dour. I like season 1 because I like seeing Aang have so much fun, because I know the world is on his shoulders. Anyway, let me stop salivating over Aang, protecting him, because y'all keep wanting to hurt a little boy. I really can't stand y'all. But anyways, what else can I say about the dark times? I want to see, some blood, some gore. I want to see the stench of war. So when they meet Haru and Haru's family, and he gets dragged away, I want it to be brutal. Like, they beat him up a little before they throw him out, before they throw him on the ship. And, maybe his dad is there, but his dad looks broken and bloody. And, like, I want to see, like, Jesus. They're really on a prison ship. Like, I want to see the war. Like, since they're going to make it dark, you can tone down the light, fun-filled colors. Let me see the stain of war on this land. Since people love to act like Avatar is a kid show, show them that it's not. Writers, do your thing. Prove them niggas wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's go into the next one that kind of ties into this. This is part 3. Part 3. Now, give Team Azula more blood. Now, what I mean by this is a few things, and it'll tie all together under the give them more blood. I said Team Azula. I know they haven't picked out May entirely yet, but it's kind of just going into things that are happening in the new season. But since Azula is already here, I need to see it with Azula. Alright? I want to see them kill people. Alright? And in different ways. Alright? I want to see torture, bloodshed, and fear in the eyes of their enemies. I want complete bad B energy. Complete. I want that when they step in the room, shut it down. Alright? And mind you, the writers of the original show did it so well that they gave up that energy without killing people. Which, you know what? Claps and snaps to them. But since it's a darker show, I need them to have that energy, because I see the bodies dropping. Azula spoke about how she would kill somebody in the 2nd season, but I ain't seen it yet. To be honest, if we're looking at it really, really closely, probably Aang has more bodies than Azula. But we're gonna leave that alone. This is just a little bit of a forward. I might bring up Toph as well. When they cast May, y'all can finally shut up. And I'm gonna keep saying that same sentence until y'all finally shut up about May. This is a specific scene that I want to see with May. So you know how her uncle is a prison warden, and he tortures people to get them to talk, and so her family her parents are kind of ditzy, right? I want to see her darker side. You know? Like, obviously she's going to kill people with the knives. I need to see that because I want to see it. And it will help people who act like she doesn't need to be a part of Azula's team or she's the most useless person on the team. It'll help y'all who say that to shut up. But I would love to see a scene where Azula, where like, let's say somebody's sitting down on a chair and they're shaking. And they're like, Azula, I'll tell you anything. You're like, no, wait, I won't tell you anything, no. And he's like, but then in his head he's like, she's gonna kill me. And then Azula kind of like reads his mind. And, because, she can read fear. She's like, no, I'm not going to do anything to you. My friend will. And then he's like, what, the twirler? Huh. It's like, nope, the gloomy one. And then May comes up out of the shadows, puts a knife to his throat, and then they leave. I want them to either show a little bit of that interaction to show that, May is, like, dangerous, or they can fade to black, right? Have a scene go on with our regular gang, and then they come back to the guy shaking with like shallow cuts all over his body. And May's like, I got the information. And they all walk away like bad bees. I want that scene so bad. I would love if like Team Azula, like they were all not only specialized in fighting styles, but communication styles. So like May is the torturer, Ty Lee is the infiltrator, right? So she can like, Ty Lee would be like be able to smooth talk anybody and then double cross them. Azula, she'll just intimidate anybody. And May, they just think that she's nothing. But when she roll up on you, that's it. And together they make the Powerpuff Girls. But yeah, like, I want to see that. I want to see that really bad. I want them to do that. If the writers end up stealing anything from this video, it's just me pretending to listen to me. I'm just pretending. Please take that. Please take a scene of May torturing somebody, or at least highly suggest that she tortured somebody, and let us see that badassery for ourselves. Okay, because I really want to see it so bad. Okay, so bad. Alright, what else do I want to see? Let's talk about the sexuality of the show. A lot of people did not like the rumor, because I don't think it's true, but I don't think it's true in the same way people think it is, that they were going to age up the characters or switch the ages around to make like Katara older than Sokka. And to be honest, when I heard it, I was like, ew, no, hell nah, nope, no, hell nah, nope, nah. Because like the fact that Sokka is older breeds a different dynamic, and that dynamic helps with his arc. So I really don't want to see that. Please don't. If you're going to change up ages, right, at least make Sokka still be older than Katara. Right? Because I think the fact that he was older, but he still didn't know what to do, so Katara was still technically the mom, even though he technically should have been a dad to her. I think that's still an interesting relationship to look into, and we shouldn't destroy that by making it, well, obviously she was the mom figure because she was older. Like, we don't need that. And plus, I feel like they would only change the ages to make it less creepy for Zuko to be with her. And guys, relax. We don't need to see that. We don't. So, but in terms of sexuality itself, I'm okay with seeing Sokka do some Mac Daddy moves on Suki and Yue, and I am okay with seeing Zuko get some play. So I'm okay with that. Alright? I'm okay with that. On a lower level note, like, this is just, okay, after dark moments. I wouldn't mind, because we all know we saw that Azula does not know how to get a man in normal circumstances. But I would like to see that in a contrast. I would like to see that, like, because she's a princess, maybe she has male concubines, and maybe she has one that's loyal to her, that's like her favorite, and she enjoys playing around with him, and he's probably like the only one who understands her. And this doesn't need to be an arc moment. Okay, I'm going to talk about Azula and an arc a little later on in the video. Not very long, because this video is already pretty long. But I would love to see like a relationship between like Azula and a concubine where, like, she knows how to flirt with him because, he likes her being strong and powerful, but she doesn't know how to flirt outside of her princess background. So that would be a really good contrast. So you could still have her being awkward in season 3, which would probably be season 6 of this live action show anyway. You can still have that scene of her being completely awkward, because I love that scene as well, you know? You and I will dominate the earth! Like, we love that. It's iconic. But I like to see, like, in the beginning, since they've already casted her, like, you know, we see that Zuko can get any girl he wants. Let's see that on Azula's side as well. I would like to see that. I would like to see that Azula, you know, she got a little play. You know, she works hard because she plays hard. If they're gonna add that element, I would like to see Azula's dynamic between getting whatever she wants because she's a queen. And I know I made her favorite concubine thing sound like it's special relationship, and it can be. You know, the writers could make it be that, you know, let's say Azula is to die by the end of the show. That side character would be the only one that really cared. He would be like, I really did care about her. And maybe he could try to assassinate somebody and then they end up locking him in prison. Ooh, take it! Take all of my ideas, take them! Alright. Let's get into Azula and Azula's arc. I'm okay either way. I know people are split on it. You know, they either think that she could have an arc or she doesn't need one. I get that. I was literally complaining the other day that superhero stuff, Marvel and DC in particular, can't seem to just write regular villains anymore. Like, if the villain is regular, he's either gonna die or he's going to have an arc and become a good guy, and it's so tiring. Like, for example, with Black Adam, come on, guys. We all know Dwayne The Rock is not going to play a forever villain. At most, the heroes understand why he did what he did, talk him down, and then he just walks away, never to destroy stuff again, and probably comes back to help Shazam in a second movie. I'm so over that, which is why I can understand why people wouldn't want Azula to have an arc. Like, we don't need that. We like her bad, right? But because she's so young, and age is the deferring factor for me, because she's so young, it's why I could go either way. I'm completely okay with her being bad and staying that way. Because she's so young, if they wrote it right, I can also see her having an arc. As good as Zuko's, I can't say that. I don't know, but I'm not against it because her age is a deciding factor. Now, let us continue. I don't know what they're going to do with Suki's mom. I kind of don't care. It's kind of annoying that, you know, they put in Suki's mom and not Suki's dad. You know, it kind of would have been nice if it was like a reverse Mulan moment where her dad taught her how to fight and taught her that even though she's a girl, it doesn't matter. Girls can defend for honor. If a girl can be an avatar, then a girl can be a warrior, which would be able to contrast with Katara's background. And I will bring that up right after this. Just remind me. I would have loved to see that. Alright, so that would have been really cool, but it's the mom. So probably the mom will do the same thing, but alright, admit it, ladies, right? It doesn't really have the same impact if a woman is telling you that a woman can do anything. It has more of an impact if a man is saying it, because this is a man stepping outside of misogyny, to be honest, right? With a woman, it's more biased. Of course you're going to say I can do anything, because you're just like me. Why would a man say that? You know what I mean? He doesn't have that bias, so it makes it a little bit more special. Not completely, but a little bit. So I kind of would have preferred that, but we'll see what they do with that character. It'll be fine. I don't really care about Kyoshi. She has some cool moments in the show. Hopefully they just keep that up, copy and paste. Don't really care to see her backstory. Like I told you, I'm not really for the comics that are not The Search, because, you know. Oh, and the little pieces of the comic strips that have to do with Toph and that metal builder guy. Give Toph somebody, please. But yeah, as I was saying, this can also go into deeper connections. One of the issues I had with the show, the original show, was that Katara seemed to be upset with her dad out of nowhere, but they could have tied it in, like I said before, with the culture. Sokka being sexist because it's part of his culture, not just because he's a guy. So in that way, it could be, you know, in the Water Tribe, because I made it tie in because you're going to be like, but the women were fighting when Hama was taught. Because the women were fighting, right? The men on both sides of the poles decided that they don't want to lose any more women to the Fire Nation, so they stopped them from waterbending, right? And then they were doing it to protect them, but it had a bad side effect of patriarchy and misogyny. And that is where Katara gets her anger at her dad and where Sokka gets his attitude problem from. That would be great, because then Katara and Suki can have this dynamic where it's like Suki was taught the exact opposite, even though similar things were happening on her home front, you know, them both having to fight against the tyranny. That would be a really cool dynamic between Katara and her father and Katara and Suki. Please do that, guys. Please do that. Because I don't want to dislike Katara by the end of the show. Well, not dislike her, but have a moment where I'm like, really, girl? And just because she's being unreasonable, like, everybody who's seen that scene justify it because they like Katara, but they themselves wouldn't have done that, and they themselves don't understand that. They just justify it because Katara, and they know that she's just going to be a good person at the end of the day. I want her stuff to be justified because I love her so much. So I want you to justify it by doing that. Thank you. Like I said, guys, if you disagree with me or you have other ideas or my idea gave you an idea, please put it in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Now about Toph, we'll just bring this up. I need more screen time with her. Okay? I need more screen time with her. Give me all of her screen time. I need more screen time. Now, we know a lot about Toph because they make her character fairly obvious. That's why her character is so loud. So that when they mute her by giving her such little screen time, you barely notice it because everything is happening so fast. But when she is on screen, she takes over everything. I need y'all to stop playing with me. I get it. She's a loud personality, so like, could trick us by giving her less screen time. I still noticed. And every time I rewatch the show, I notice. Give my girl more screen time. Also, I would love to see her with Sokka. So if you're gonna be aging up everybody, that would be a great thing for me to see. But if you don't do it, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There was a scene, and it's just me skipping forward to the future. I'm not gonna do a lot of it because we haven't seen the rest of the season, but it's just Toph, so I want to talk about Toph. There was a scene, right, that I didn't really understand in season 3 where the Duke like kind of went up to her and, you know, he just, you know, being friendly to her. I think the Duke must be around her in Ang's age, probably 11 or something, maybe even 12, you know, just be short. I think it's cute. I think the Duke likes Toph, and since Toph can't be with Sokka because, you know, y'all don't want people who should be together to be together, because in terms of compatibility, Toph and Sokka make a lot of sense, but I'll let it rest. Give the Duke more screen time, just a little bit more screen time when we see Jet and them, so that the Duke can be with Toph. Alright, I don't really need y'all to add in a bunch of characters that we've never even seen before, like you're planning to do already. This show has so many side characters that you don't really need to add in a lot of people. Alright, I'll let you slide with Suki's mom, because you just wanted to switch out unnamed Kyoshi Island ruler S. Fine. But please don't add in any more characters we've never heard of. Alright, let's just talk about Jet's people since I'm there. I want to see more backstory on how everybody came to join the Freedom Fighters and Jet. I want to see Jet's story elongated. If it even ends on the cliffhanger of him trying to take Sokka for a walk before they blow up the dam, excellence. Excellence. I would love to see that. So please do that. Also, the way that everything would work, if you're really slowing down time, I want to slow down time to a crawl. I want it to be that the next Sozen comment is coming in like 3 years instead of by the end of summer. Now, I know you're saying, but Peter, you hate what they changed the lore. This changing of lore would make for my favorite ship not to be criticized as much anymore, and it would give deeper meaning to stuff that happened. Now, of course, because they're in a time of war, that speeds everything up considerably, which is why a bunch of things that people might have questioned they're okay with. But because this show is going to be a little bit more long formed, I am okay with them stretching it up from 6 months to a year, maybe 2 or 3 years. So if they do that, I would be happy about that, because we can definitely see people age up, see arcs get longer forms, and see them spend longer times in certain places. There are certain places where they could have been there for an entire week, but we didn't know because of the formats of the show. So I would definitely love to see all of that, like how long they're in a certain place for. That's all I'm saying. But long and short of it is, I just need them to write it well. I want them to stretch out certain things, shorten certain things, and don't even include certain things. However, the way writing is, and the way I am, I could like a lot of different things if they're written properly. So we'll see. However, if this show is bad, I will be making video after video on it. So, tell me what you think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree? Let's have a civil conversation down below. The show's not out yet, so we can disagree and I won't care. Even if you're a Zutara shipper, give me valid reasons why. Not just scenes taken out of context where Katara is being motherly and nurturing and you see that as sexual tension. Give me the real. And as with anything else, thank you so much for watching this video. And just let me know what you think of everything. Let me see what your ideas are. I would love to see things that I didn't even think of. That would totally be good. Let's keep it to season 1 though, because like I said, I jumped forward for Toph a little bit because I love Toph, and I'm going to be giving her some time in all of my Avatar videos since y'all didn't want to give her that much time in the show. I went there. But anyways, thank you so much for this video, Simmies. I'm going to make a few more Avatar videos. Who knows? As I get more updates, I might get more predictions. So I might make another video that will definitely be shorter. Do not worry. Anyways, see you in the next video, whether that be a Let's Play or commentary. Anyways, goodbye, Simmers. Soo-soo.